And welcome back, everybody, to Florida West Coast Fishing Report. Captain Sergio, Captain George.
Good
And I
evening.
tell you, you could tell the time of the year, George. We got Michael Dawson's like on a vacation. Scotty Rowe, I think he's taking it easy. We know that Mike Haynes is getting
He's got a
the
situation.
boat fixed up a little bit.
Yep.
So everybody's doing some stuff, you know. But we got your fishing report. We got Tony Franklin, and I got one from today. Being out there on the water, I was filming with Captain Brandon, and it's a bunch of areas that I hadn't been to. God, I bet you I haven't been to some of those areas in 20 years where he fishes.
Right.
Years ago, I used to go down there, but I haven't been down there in years. The water was, I don't want to say it was dirty. It was just tannic, but it wasn't dirt, that dark tannic color, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, you could see it. You could see the bottom, but it was that rusty looking color, but not the
Yeah.
dark rust, you know?
Yeah. It makes you worry about the you know,
Yeah.
if something's gonna start, but hopefully not. Excuse me.
Oh God, what was that? You got you're there?
I'm testing the equipment out to make sure it can handle a sneeze.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but
So yeah, I mean the whole time we were down there, we could look north because we're in the south end of the bay, and man, we could see some rain. Did you get rain at your house?
um, maybe for a very short time.
Okay.
Very short time. It was probably around 1, I think.
I know Irene was a little nervous because at Wesley Chapel it
It was
poured.
bad. Yeah, it was
She
bad.
said it poured hard, and then it slowed down. Then it rained again, and it rained again. And when I called her, she says, "Are you okay?" I said, "We haven't had a drop of rain where I'm at."
Yeah.
I said, "We
No,
had clear skies and partly cloudy skies," but I said, and actually, it was pretty calm, George, till about I want to say 9:30, quarter to 10, maybe 10 o'clock. The wind kicked up some, but I
right.
mean, it was very fishable, you know?
Yeah, well, you had them storms coming through. That always ticks the wind up on you a little bit.
Yeah. And you could feel it was a storm. You could feel that coolness in the air
Oh yeah.
where the temperature looks like the air temperature drops 4 or 5 degrees real quick.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
That's always not a good feeling when you feel that because you know it's not too far away from you.
No. So, but at least there was no lightning, no thunder. Now, last night we had some pretty good thunder over here at my house.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
There was good storms today. I mean, they mostly stayed north of me. I mean, I got hit with one little section that came through, but most of it was north of me and like Courtney Campbell area, Gandy, between the two. That got hammered pretty good today.
Yeah, so at least hey, we made it through. And actually, it was funny because, uh, I have the parking pass for Simmons, but I don't have the pass to get into the place early. So we met Brandon. We were supposed to meet Brandon at 6 o'clock over there, but the gate was open. So we just drove right in, no problem.
Right.
Apparently, there was some kind of lightning strike or something, and for the last 3 weeks, they've been having problems with the gate. So I think it looks like they've been leaving the gate open
Right.
all the time until I guess they take care of the problem.
Well, Gandy, they're getting ready to renovate Gandy's boat docks, and it's going to be a nightmare.
I hope they're going to do one at a time.
No, they're only going to leave one functioning.
You're kidding.
And that's what the little thing that I got read.
Where'd that come from? Who sent it to you?
Wait a second.
I didn't see anything on that.
July 14th to August 11th, and it was just on Google. But yeah, at least one of the 3 ramps will be accessible during the renovation. That's what they wrote.
Wow. Now, what are they doing? They're going to increase the parking, increase the clean.
No, they're working on the
docks,
actual. They're working on the docks,
the docks themselves.
and maybe who knows? Maybe the ramp itself too. I don't know, but God, to take that boat ramp down to one, that's kind of scary. They should do
Oh
one at.
man.
They should do one at a time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but well,
That's the
uh,
city for you.
yeah. Well, but hey, but it needed to be done because there was only one ramp actually that's pretty good.
Decent, yeah.
The other ones, part of it is good, and then you got those boats sticking out that just
Yeah, you got to
tear
watch
up
where
your
you
boat.
dock. Yeah, you got to watch where you dock, and I throw out the little bumpers just in case.
Yeah,
But but God, think about that place on a Saturday with only one functioning ramp.
yeah, I ain't worried because I don't go out on Saturdays or Sundays. So
But even during the week, though, I mean,
yeah, during
one
the week,
ramp, one
well,
ramp, that's gonna be bad.
yeah, I mean, going in. Well, most of the captains will leave real early, so people that show up a little. But if everybody decides to start coming back around
Come
12,
back
30,
in.
1 o'clock, 2
That's it.
o'clock, it's
Or
going to be a nightmare.
what if a storm chases everybody in at the same time?
That's right. There ain't much you can do.
Nope.
Or Christopher Yates says, "What a mess that's going to be." You better believe it.
Yep.
And Ken, how are you, Ken? Where's Linda? Linda, she usually always beats Ken to watch the show. Not today. Oh, Ken beat her. Something's wrong.
Uh
Something's wrong, Ken. Linda usually gets here before you do.
um, but yeah, that would be a fiasco. But boy, if they could just ever just build the ramp on the St. Pete side, they've already got the startings of it.
Yeah, well, one,
It'll be
you think it wouldn't
it'll be
hurt for
awesome.
them to have a boat ramp on the other side of the bridge, take some of the pressure off of a Gandy.
And there's plenty of room for parking over there. They can make a huge parking lot right there. They've already got the start of the boat ramp. You know what I mean? It's already been there once before.
I mean, I don't think it would take that much,
No,
but they're
and you
they're
know,
they're, they're too busy trying to spend $1 billion on a new race stadium.
yeah, St. Pete, St. Pete. If they wanted to do the same thing, charge $5 for parking or whatever you want to do. And I mean, every weekend that place would be packed. You'd be making money.
Yeah, because you know how many people come across that bridge to go to the Gandy side to go to the ramp.
I'm one of
I
them.
mean, and really, it is a good spot right there. There's no problem there. I
And
mean, they can make it a 3 ramp deal with plenty of parking because they got a lot of space and they'll
yep.
take a lot of the overflow from the Tampa side.
Oh yeah. And then if you got a bad day where you got west winds, you can launch out of that side. You got
Yeah,
east winds, you can launch out of the Gandy side or the
right,
Tampa side.
right. So,
Ken
well,
Burke says she's busy.
yeah, yeah, because if not, usually she's on there first. She's the first one on the
Right.
yeah
So
boat ramps at the stadium. Yeah, yeah.
you guys try to find some reports from the Newport Richey, Hudson, Anklo area.
Well, Anklo, we got, as you're talking about fishing
Michael
reports,
Dawson. I
we
mean,
got
Michael
Michael
Dawson.
Dawson, but we really should try to get something from Hudson, that area.
Yeah.
And I got to see, and actually we need to get one from the upper part of the bay around the Courtney Campbell. Somebody that's fishing up there all the time.
And I was watching a show last night because we got a lot of shark shows on right now, and I was watching a show that this is pretty wild. Tiger shark has a baby, live baby, comes out and is instantly swimming. No teaching need to be done, and it's off, ready to go eat. This other shark, that's a deep water shark. It's 1,000 feet. This thing is in water that's 1,000 feet deep, and when it lays eggs, this shark, it doesn't have a baby. It lays eggs, and what it does is it's got this egg sac, and there's like little curly Q string hanging out. It'll
Uh-huh.
go by some kind of plant and swim around it till it gets tangled up on it, which will pull the egg out, and then it swims around it to get the other end that has the curly Q string on it, tangled at the other end, and it attaches it to a plant down there. and then inside that thing is, a yolk or embryo or whatever, and then it eats everything that's in there, and then it comes out. And when it comes out, it's all um, messed up. Basically, it doesn't know how to swim. It's just sitting there doing this for days. Sometimes they said, but the only reason it lives is because it's 1,000 feet. If that egg was up in shallow water, everything would eat it before it ever hatched.
Right. That's on,
1,000 feet though, this thing.
and where'd you see this on YouTube?
No, I seen it on Pluto.
Oh, okay.
On Pluto, they had a whole shark show last night, and it was pretty interesting to see the different sharks and where they bred. And then they made a mechanical shark, and they put it in the water, and these other sharks attacked it and basically sent it to the bottom.
Let's see. Roger Bird said that Mike Raban would be a good Hudson area report if he would do one. I don't know who he is. Do you?
I don't know the name. I don't know. Raban sounds familiar, but I don't know him.
Hmm.
You may have heard the name before, but I don't know him.
Yeah. I mean, because we already got Crystal River with Mike Haynes, so Hudson would be
Right.
perfect with Mike Dawson and Tarpon.
Yeah.
And really, we could use one from like right around
Sarasota.
Sarasota area. Yeah, because that's pretty close to, our market right here. So I'll work on it. See what I can do. Raybon, Raybon.
No, I don't think I know him.
Phonetic. Okay.
And then okay. So it's spelled Rabon. He's just spelling it out so we can say it correctly.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the guy that used to sell the soft science shoes. His last name was Raybon.
I think there's a lot of captains that would like to do a fishing report, but a lot of them just have a problem videotaping it and getting it to us.
Well, and
It's not hard with WhatsApp. I mean, all they
No.
gotta do is just send it, and then Hota gets it, and he takes care of it.
that, and then if you're chartering, you got to make the time to do it. There's that too.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you get done with the charter, and it's like, oh, I got to put a report in today, and so some people get, tough with that too. But the WhatsApp worked the best out of anything that we've tried.
Yeah, because there's no problem. I mean, you don't have a problem with it being 3 or 4 minutes long. It lets you send it right through.
That it usually doesn't buffer.
Yesterday, the show came out where we were with Jeff Hagman was going to try to catch kingfish.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a grouper show. And I tell you, George, I think you would like to do something like that. When I get the West End boat, we got to do that. I mean, you're in 30 feet of water, and we were chumming for kingfish, free lining big white baits, right? And these grouper came off the bottom, big grouper, and we're hitting the free line. Boy, and that's a good fight when you have no weight, no nothing, just you and the fish. It's just like fishing for snook or reds with light tackle, but you're catching grouper.
Right. Well, that's like years ago. Me and my uncle, we used to fish out of. He's a captain up there in Tarpon Springs, and when he was younger, we used to fish out of Tarpon Springs. We'd go catch our bait by the island, and then we would head out. And we were out there free lining. Like one of the favorite things we used to like to do was take for whatever reason, but a frozen sardine like you'd use for grouper fishing. And if the current was moving good, just put that out on a free line behind the boat and forget about it, and then do your other live baits. And that free line sardine would sometimes catch the biggest king. Well, we got to this one spot, and we must have caught. Let me rephrase that. Hooked. Okay, we must have hooked 4 or 5 Goliath grouper on a frozen, like 7-8 inch Spanish sardine, and we couldn't get past them. We couldn't get any kingfish because those things kept coming up and eating our bait. So we changed the name on the fish finder to Goliath Spot, and it
Oh,
no longer was a kingfish spot. It turned into a Goliath.
there you go.
Roger says you should see the pictures from Crystal River of the scallops. I've been seeing them,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of scallops
a
being
lot of
caught,
scallops and good size.
which
Jim
is good.
Jim Jim Pace says, "Wish me luck this week here in Pasco with the scallops people being crazy." Well, good luck, buddy. You can do
Yeah,
it. But I think it is like we talk about things always going in cycles. I think this is definitely going to be a good
a good
scalp
year for scallops.
because
It looks
it
like
just
it anyway.
it just started and people are just showing buckets and buckets full of them, and they're good sized ones too. I think the little eyes on those things are pretty cool looking.
All the
Kind of,
scallops.
yeah, they're kind of iridescent.
I tell you what I think is cool of them. It's when you eat them.
I do like scallops. Alejandro, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man.
Hey, Jessica and Roger and
Hey, maybe
James.
we can start getting, but what area does Jessica fish all the time?
She needs to tell. She's up there where Mike Haynes is, I believe.
All the way in Crystal River
I think so.
or
Jessica,
Homosassa?
Jessica, let us know what's your stomping grounds for you doing your charters and scallops and whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, if she's in a different area, maybe she can start sending a fishing report. You know,
Yeah,
that would be good. I mean, this is the time of the year though. A lot of people just going on vacation or you know they're getting some other stuff done. Um,
yeah, because it is hot out there without a doubt. And Roger says Chaz and Homosassa.
all right. Well, hey, maybe we can get Jessica to start giving us a fishing report from from the Chaz Homosassa area. That would help get that area covered. I like the. You're gonna. You got to go 1 year to that trip that we do out of uh, out of the Chassahowiska, George. I mean, it's a whole different way of fishing. I think you would like it.
Yeah, when we went this last time, unfortunately, we were stuck in the river.
Yeah.
Caught a lot of trout though.
It was so cold, yeah, but maybe it's going to get cold. It's the it's well, the biggest problem is those real negative tides that we had that
Yeah.
weekend. That's what made it so bad.
Jim Pace says he didn't make it out this week. His live well pumps went out, replaced with a new rule tournament. You gotta watch that tournament one. Sometimes that one heats up and bubbles on the top. Depends on which model you got. But also power pole board died. Boy, you were just getting hammered left and right.
Oh man. And see what else? Power board died, just got replaced. Man. Sergio, do you have a charter tomorrow? Nope, not tomorrow. I was filming today and I'm filming on Wednesday. But nope. I don't even want to do charters this time of the year. It's too hot, you know.
Roger says that's why I run a jet.
Those jet, but I understand. I never owned one, but I understand they're gas hogs.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it because of the way the propulsion is.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of power and RPM to get it going.
Right.
But Roger, how's the gas situation? What's the fuel burnage on it? That beaver tail today, I was cruising at about 5.2 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain. And I'll tell you, we went through some skinny area, real skinny to get some of the places we went to.
Jessica says
Okay,
she'll
yeah,
call
she's
you.
gonna call me tomorrow. Okay, yeah. And then, it's try to do a show with her. Also, let's see. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. They tell me that I think Chris says, I think I'll have my boat by the 10th of September, my new West End. The only holdup could be at this point right now is Electronics will be here in another week from Simrad. The trolling motor and the brackets are here from PowerPole. Batteries will be here in 10 days, according to Optima. The only thing that it's going to tie me up a little bit is the 10-foot power poles. They're,
They're really behind.
yeah, and it's not the power poles they're behind on, it's the pump, the single cylinder, single pump.
Right.
Those things have taken off and they're just behind on it. They were about, they told me about 3 months out. So I don't know. But I already got everything else, so I'm ready to go.
Right. Now, I was watching that show on the shark, and, you know, it was, you know, they got the water baited up. There's sharks all around the boat. And the guy's sitting on the swim platform, and he's got his wetsuit on, but the top part, he had his, like, top half of his body out of the wetsuit, you know, just to cool
Right.
off. So he's sitting on the thing, and he's sitting like to the side, and one of the arms of the wetsuit was in the water, and the shark came up and grabbed it.
Oh,
and
God.
started pulling on it, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, that's slippery. You know, if he would have pulled him in the water, luckily it let go because it obviously didn't like what it tasted. But if it didn't let go, it would have been nothing for that shark to pull him in the water. And then the then he got suited up to go in the water with these sharks. And you know those wire gloves you put on for
Oh, yeah,
flying?
yeah, yeah.
And they have the same thing in a suit to protect you from getting bit from a shark, to stop the teeth from going through. And I said to Barbara, I said, okay, let's just go that route. The teeth aren't going through, but a mako has 3,000 pounds of force when it bites. Okay.
You'll crush your bone.
Yeah, the teeth didn't go through, but my arm is shattered.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great. I
Yeah.
didn't get
Hey,
I didn't get bit.
no stitches, but I don't.
Yeah.
My arm won't work
Yeah.
anymore.
I didn't get bit by a tooth, but my arm is like can bend backwards now.
Yeah.
And then the great white, capable of 4,000 pounds.
Jesus.
So I mean, and then you ever see there's a girl that swims with all these big sharks. I can't remember her name. She's real famous. And like she'll have the shark come up to her, like almost with his mouth open, and she'll push its head up and like kind of control him. And she does good work with it, but it only takes one mistake and you're dead.
The Australian guy, remember? They got
Oh
killed.
yeah. Yep.
Hey,
And
and something else that I saw on YouTube, that girl, is it Erica, that's got that show, fishing show, that she only wears like a little T-top bathing suit?
there's a few of them, but Erica Lynn is one of them, and
Yeah.
Darth Sizzle is another one.
Well, they were caught. The YouTube it said it was her. Now I can't verify that.
Right.
But it looked like her. She was with, I guess, her boyfriend or her husband and another couple with lobster and fish that they had caught in the marine zone in the Keys.
Oops.
And the FWC was getting ready to write them up.
Wow.
And
So
you think
somebody else
somebody like that would know, right?
Yeah, somebody else must have filmed them then. I would doubt they would put that on there themselves.
No, it was I think they used the FWC film because he was filming everything and explaining to them that they were in a marine preserve area and that you couldn't catch any fish in there. And they had spearfish, a mango snapper, and something else. Then they had like 8 lobsters and everything else. So,
and then I was surprised. They said the bull shark, comparably, still a lot of poundage, but comparably, they said the bull shark only has 1,300 pounds, which is still a lot of pressure.
hey, it's still a lot of pressure.
Oh, it's a lot of pressure, but I was surprised that it was that much lower than like a mako. A mako was 3,000 pounds.
You know?
I was a little surprised by that, but we all know the bull shark's the one that's got the bad attitude.
Yeah. It's like everybody, years ago, I had two Dobies, and everybody says, oh, Doberman, and this and that. The worst dogs are the pit bulls. I mean, as far as attacking people,
Right.
they attack their own.
I think I really think it's more, and I know what you're saying with that, but I really think sometimes it's more how the owner trains it too, though. But
Well, I know you
but
hear the
there is,
stories about this pit bull's been with the family, and all of a sudden it turns on the kids and
yeah, I've
just
heard
turns up.
that. Yeah,
And you never hear that about a Doberman.
yeah,
Even how often do you hear a Rottweiler attacking somebody just out of nowhere? Now,
right.
yeah, if you train them just like a Dobie, you
Oh
can
yeah.
train a Doberman to be one bad
Yeah.
one. But I mean, the two that I had were the nicest thing you ever want to see.
Now Jessica says she used his jet boat all day and still have gas, and we used 8 to 10 gallons. Is what he's saying. She's saying about his boat.
Because I know one of the guys that we go out with out of Chesapeake once in a while has a jet one. And he was telling me he didn't get good gas mileage.
And then Jim said it was a control board, it was back ordered. It took him a month to get it. I know it's been pretty bad on the ordering over there lately.
And I don't know why.
It's I don't know. You know, they lost somebody over there that I thought handled things really well, but I don't know.
Yeah. You,
But
you never know what's going on, you know?
yeah,
But, and like I said, with me is, I told them what I needed and yeah, come and get everything, but no power pole.
but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It took me a while to get some parts recently, so I don't know. They're having a back order problem right now.
And now I was noticing too, if you notice the trend now, everybody's got a power pole. All the companies are making them and trolling motors.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh
you got Garmin trolling motor, you got a Lowrance trolling motor, you got the Minn Kota, you got the power pole. And then I'm looking, I'm saying, geez, uh,
Roger says PowerPole has made some interesting supply chain decisions that will seriously impact the future of the company. Yeah, if they don't get it together and they stay doing what they're doing right now, it's going to hurt them. They definitely need,
especially with the competition out
yeah.
there.
Because
I mean, there's
they
a
were,
did you see the new power pole that you can order it hydraulic or manual? And it's got like a rope. But what
yeah,
I'm
I've
saying
seen
is,
that. I've
I
seen the
think it
electric.
must be spring loaded because I mean, how do you drive it into the ground if
Uh,
it ain't
the one I
hydraulic?
saw, I know the company you're talking about, and it was electric, and I'm thinking, well, electric a lot of times ain't too good around salt water neither. You know,
Because
it's not a
what I
hydraulic.
saw is like the guy pulling it up with a
Yeah,
cord,
yeah, I seen
like a
that.
T handle.
Um, so I don't know.
So
And don't get me
it,
wrong,
it must be that maybe electric drives it down,
I think so.
and then you got to pull it up yourself.
I don't know.
But if you're going to go through all that trouble, just get the hydraulic one and get it over with.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know.
if you're gonna do that, you might as well just buy a stick-it pin.
So
But I love my power pole. I mean, it was the greatest invention. And now what's happening is because it's past 20 years, everybody's making their own type.
yeah.
You know. Now, Lowrance's trolling motor,
Mhm.
they got to work on it. That's the ugliest thing I ever seen. It is ugly. It really is. I wouldn't want to put that on the bow of my boat. That's how ugly it is. It's ugly, man. And talking with one of the guys at Bass Pro, they've had issues with them, like having the warranty stuff.
That it takes a long time for warranty work.
No, that they're having more warranty issues than any of the other trolling motors.
Oh yeah. Well,
Anything that's new like that, you're always going to get that. Never buy a first year edition of anything.
but I
But
did notice I see a lot of ads on the power poles. I guess that's real popular and
it is.
everybody's pushing them,
Oh yeah. I
and
mean, all these
everybody
different.
says an improved, and if you think about it in a way, power pole has been proven,
Right.
no question about it. But then, some of these people that if they're going to copy you because they can do it now,
Right.
I mean, they can probably say, where's some of the problems that maybe power pole had? Is it the knuckle or is it this? Well, let's improve that part. So
Yeah.
we
But
actually have an improved product.
right. But you know what will happen is they'll improve something, but then they'll have their own problems because they're new at it,
That's right.
you know. So yeah, I'll stick with Power Pole. It's been around, it's proven. We know what issues it might have, and you know what to do not to have them.
I would never get rid of any of the PowerPole products. Period.
Yeah,
That
but
that
I just laughed because it was about a couple of weeks ago. I saw for the first time I saw that Lowrance trolling motor,
uh-huh.
and of course the only thing good about it is it connects with your Lowrance fish finder, so you can set a course, plot a course, and everything else. So that's a good feature. But um, issues with the motor itself, and then man, it's just ugly. It ain't streamlined. It's ugly. They tried to, I don't know, do some color scheme, and it just the shape of the whole thing just is not very pretty.
Well, you know, if you think about it though, your PowerPole trolling motor, uh, you can run it off your app on your phone and set a course off the on your phone.
Yeah. Also, I like too, like you know, I've got a Minn Kota on there right now, but I'll probably get into the new move that they got now. But um, I've told a lot of captains about this because they didn't know. Is you know, on your iPhone or your Android, I have an iPhone. Go on the App Store, you can get almost any app you need on the iPhone. And so I downloaded the Minn Kota app. So now, even if all my controller batteries were to go dead, my phone is always charged. I can pick my phone up and run my trolling motor with no problem.
Yep.
And the worst part about it is the phone has a stronger connection than the actual remotes. It really does. The phone is flawless. When you run your Minn Kota with your
Uh-huh.
phone, it's flawless. It has either maybe because it's a stronger antenna, way even better than your remote.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I,
but
I've
it's
got
good
to
backup.
try to lock my. I got the app for the Move, but you know, you have to have your trolling motor on to get everything to work.
Right.
I just haven't got around to that. But uh, Kurt was telling me, he says, "Yeah, you got to try it because he says there's so many things you can do with your phone with the trolling motor.
Yeah.
You should do it. You know."
Oh yeah. You can adjust like the kick in speed instead of it just going from like if you turn it on and off and you have to have that you happen to have the setting on a higher number so you don't throw somebody off the bow of the boat. You can set how fast it ramps up. I mean, there's a lot of different things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'll get around to doing it one day.
Let's see. Roger says the original power pole pump assembly is still available from DV Electric and it's part of the configuration that made them so dependable and wants them into a level of success. Yeah, but he wants that single pump with the release valve and all that.
And so he says, I used that app once. I now carry two remotes, mini and the big one.
I'll tell you what, Jim, uh, the mini one, definitely. You almost never use all the stuff that's on that big remote. It's way too heavy around your neck. So the mini one is all I put around my neck anymore. I carry the big one for a backup, and then I got my phone as the next backup.
Well, you know,
The only reason
go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I don't like about using my phone, which I've had to, because I've had a couple of occasions where it's come up where the stupid remote didn't want to cooperate, and I had to use the phone. But the whole time I'm using the phone, because I don't have it in one of those cases with a lanyard, I'm worried about don't drop it overboard. Don't drop it overboard.
Well, you know, the move that I got, you got your regular power pole up and down button, but then on your move, you actually have the power pole up and down button built into the remote. So you only have to carry one around your neck, and it's not very big. So
Right.
you could do everything with your trolling motor, but and also go up or down with your power poles, which is pretty neat. And the remote smaller. And I asked him, because they don't have any digital information on it, and he says most people never pay attention to that, and it just takes up more room, makes it a bigger control.
Yeah.
That's what they told me.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do like having the digital where before you push the go button, is it on 5 or is it on 10? So you know what speed it's going to kick in at.
Yep, you're right.
If you're close to a school of redfish, you don't want to be kicking that thing on when it's on high and spooking your redfish out, you want to start off on a low number, you know. And the phone overheating. Yeah, if you leave your phone in the sun just a little bit, just a little while, it seems to want to overheat.
Oh yeah. Your phone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
I've
that's
had
why
to
I
put it.
keep mine in the shade all the time.
Yeah, I do too. But it was funny. The one day where the sun was at, the angle it was on, it was actually going inside my helm compartment because I had the door open, and it was hitting my phone, and my phone got hot in there. It just happened to be the perfect angle to where it was directly blasting it, and I had to put it. I actually put it in the cooler, on top of some, you know, ice, on top
Right.
of the bag. Uh-oh.
And Jim said he's put his into the bait well a couple of times. Yeah, it's true because you got it hanging around your neck and you bend over. If your bait well's one of those low,
Yep, yep.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh
uh,
yeah, you
the-
gotta
the-
watch that too with the remotes. If I don't, a lot of times I'll put it in my top pocket because sometimes if you lean over the boat to grab a fish, they're hanging. You'll dunk them, or I'll grab them and put them inside the gunnel.
it's crazy. Well, what do you think? Let's see. Let's run
Let's run Tony's.
Tony Franklin because we only got 2 reports today. So let's get Tony's.
Hi, Captain Tony Franklin back with this week's fishing charter. This week has been outstanding once again. Mentioned a lot of times on the fishing report this year that the trout bite is phenomenal. Catching a lot of silver trout, a lot of spotted sea trout. Most of these fish are in 6 feet of water on the grass flats. They've gone a little deeper. You want a grassy area, 6 to 7 feet of water. Sometimes we're even going to 8 feet of water. The key being finding grass underneath there, but that bite remains phenomenal. The snook are a little bit picky. They're buried up under the mangroves on these high tides, so you got to make some perfect casts. You got to get them up under there, but we are catching snook, just not huge numbers of snook. Been a few redfish around, and they're up under the mangroves too. They're not really on the flat. Now when the tide comes out, they'll come out a little bit, but they're staying back there by the mangroves. Been a lot of dolphins harassing the fish, so they're staying pretty tight to these mangroves, and we've had higher tides here lately. Moving along, Spanish mackerel, they've been in the bay. Some days they're really hot, some days they're not as good. They're around the range markers, some of the shoal areas, so that's another great option. Mangrove snappers started to come in. They're also around range markers. They're around the bridges. They're around any kind of structure or rubble. Look for the mangrove snapper bite to pick up as we get into a little more later summer, peaking somewhere around September. There's been bonnethead sharks, black-tip sharks, so there's been a lot of action on the water. So get out on the water. Like I said, the water temperature's hot, the air temperature's hot. Biggest key, get out on the water early. Start around 7:30, get off the water by 11:30. Be off the water before noon. The better bite's going to be in the morning. So get out there, catch some fish, try to dodge the thunderstorms, tight lines. I'll see you next week.
All right, Tony, good report as usual. Jessica wants to know if you're going to
Yep.
ICAST.
I just texted her.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and one of the problems, Jessica, is that their biggest booth, Pure Fishing, is not going anymore. They pulled out.
Did they ever answer you when you filled out the information?
I never got answer, never got back. And I texted them a couple of times. Hey guys, haven't heard back from you.
Right.
Didn't even get an answer. But I get emails every day. Don't forget to register.
Oh, I
It's
get them
almost
all
a
the time.
deadline. Don't forget to register. I said,
Yep.
I registered. I keep telling you, and nobody even answers.
Right. Right.
I started going to them with Rolando when they were in Las Vegas 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And actually, I used to like to go there because I would take Irene and Rolando would take his wife and the girls would go have a good time. And him and I could go to, I'd rather go to Vegas than Orlando anytime.
Well, there's more things to do there.
Well, it's just, Orlando, the traffic is so bad that just going from my house over there, I don't want to go.
Yeah, the only thing I was happy about was when they moved it to Tampa, was that it was closer to us, but there's definitely Vegas is a more fun place.
Oh yeah, and get you out of here. But Well, hey,
That's
they know a lot more than I do.
right.
They-
That's
they-
where me and Barb had our honeymoon with Las Vegas.
really?
Yeah. Yep. Let me think. What was the name of that? Is it Emperor's Palace? I'm trying to remember the name of the hotel we stayed at.
All those places are closed already, George.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then my uncle actually he came out there uh, to MGM is where he stayed.
I used to stay because I used to go twice a year for trade shows when I was working. I used to stay at the Venetian.
Yeah, I know that one.
Of course, I wasn't paying for it. The company was the
Right.
company, but I love the Venetian. Did you ever go inside of it and ride the
Yes,
the
but I
gondola
don't.
thing?
I was gonna say, but it's so long ago, 30-something years ago. But I remember like we actually saw. It was a present from my uncle. We actually saw Siegfried and Roy when they did their magic
Oh, did
show.
you?
So we actually got to see that. And let me tell you what, spectacular is an understatement. It was unbelievable. There was stuff happening right in front of your face, like a big elephant disappearing, and you're right there. And yeah, I know it's supposed to be done with mirrors, but I'm looking for them, and I couldn't see
Yeah.
nothing. And
Well,
this was bad. This is why at that show you don't want front row seats. The elephant had a little accident and it kind of splattered,
oh,
and the front row got it.
woo.
Yeah,
Well,
I sure hope Imperial Palace. Thank you.
the first time I went, the first place I went to was where the James Bond movie was shot. I can't think of the name of the place now.
I don't know.
It's one of the old hotels. The Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, I know the movie.
Some of the footage was shot there and then in Vegas. And the first time I went, I remember that night when I got off and left, I went there that night just to walk through the place and say, hey, I remember this, I remember that, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking Emperor's Palace, and
Imperial.
Josh and Barbara jumped on there and said Imperial Palace.
There you go.
See, you
Better
get
go, Barbara. You got to keep this man on a straight line, girl.
I had the palace part right.
Yeah, you were pretty close.
But
No, but
yeah.
Vegas, you had something, and Vegas busy, but Orlando, it's like in Vegas, the convention center, you could walk to all the hotels and all the stuff that was going on. The convention center, it's like so scattered to me.
Yeah, there's nothing
You,
right
you almost
there.
got to get in your car, get a taxi to go somewhere.
You do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to see in Vegas, that's for sure. And what else did we do? I don't know. We did a few things there that was pretty cool. But now it's changed so much; it's unbelievable. Nothing's the same from when we got married.
Oh no, I mean it's all, In fact, the other day I was watching something, and the Venetian replaced a famous hotel that was there. That's where Dean Martin and all that
Yeah.
used to do all their shows, and then that hotel got torn down, and the Venetian got built on there. Okay, guys, what areas can I take kids fishing around Tarpon Springs for some inshore action?
All the islands leaving out of the river. When you're coming,
I wonder if he's talking around
are you on a boat?
on a boat or from shore.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Port Richey, you got Green Key Beach. If you want to do a little wading, there's some nice grass flats there that will hold redfish. Yeah, that's what I was telling him, Jim. But I don't know if he's in a boat.
Yeah, we don't know if he's talking about from shore or from a boat.
That,
Actually, because I haven't done it in
okay,
years.
if you're in a boat, really,
Oh, okay.
any of the islands, the
Oh,
little
they're
spoils,
loaded with fish.
yeah, the little spoils coming out of the river, but also any of the islands, if it's a little windy, you get on the backside of the island, get in protected area. There's usually always some type of fish there.
Yeah, and the power plant in the winter, Do they still
Yep.
let you fish from the shore? There's an area there that you can fish from shore.
Well, he's got a boat, so he could go up to the barrels,
Yeah.
unless they stop from doing that.
Yeah, I haven't done that in years.
Right now, I mean, now this he's talking about kids, but if you're going fishing for yourself, man, sometimes around that power plant flats during the summer, there's some nice cobia that go on that flat. There you go. Jim's kicking in.
There you go.
Out in Spanish mackerel, 5 to 6, out in front of Anclote. So I'm saying those islands all hold fish, and then all the islands that dot from Anclote River down to Dunedin, all those islands that you see that run along the intercoastal, they all hold fish too. You just gotta jump from one to another till you find them.
Well, you and I have done already 3 or 4 shows out of that area, George.
Oh yeah,
and got tons of fish.
yep.
We had really very good luck.
Trout right now is really consistent, and if you have little kids, that would be a really good fish to start them on.
Especially just put some saltwater assassin on them with a jig head. You don't need no bait. You don't need nothing. Just let them run it. Just drift the flats and jig for those trout.
I told the story last week. I actually casted a bait out, a saltwater assassin sea shad, in my favorite color at the moment, chicken on chain. But the guy got hooked up, so I had to put that rod down in the rod holder, netted his fish. I turned around, that thing was doubled over just from sitting still. I didn't even move it because they are scented also. Don't go after the tent; it'll be crazy for scalp season. That's true, but you could do all those little islands that go from Anclote down to Dunedin, and those are not known for scalp, so those will be fine to fish.
See what happens.
Anclote, because you can go just north of Anclote where the little lighthouse is, and that turns into a scallop area. And yeah,
Bailey's Bluff, I guess, is coming back.
I don't know. My wife used to know the Baileys, actually.
Huh? You really?
My wife's family used to know the Baileys.
When I was growing up, that was the place you went every year for scallops, Bailey's Bluff.
Now, Josh said, now that's a fun thing to do with the kids. He said he's going to go for scallops also. Then you might as well just fish those areas.
Yeah, that's Junpei said Bailey's Bluff. I guess that's where the scallops were last year. And then, I guess we went through a cycle there where scallops got really bad, hard to get.
Real
and I
bad.
guess they're coming back. But the only thing that I don't like is when the water's real murky, because some of those places that you get scallops, hey, I've seen some big boys swimming in that area.
Yep. Yeah.
And not that they're going to bother you.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be one of those that, in this rare occasion, this Cuban lost his arm.
Right. Yeah. You'd rather have the clear water so you can see them coming to bite you.
Yeah. At least you're pre-warned,
Jim's saying the scallops are deep. I know last year they definitely, I don't know if it was because of a lot of rain or what, but they've been finding them deeper and deeper. Could be. You never know. Maybe they're like fish. Maybe they're feeling the pressure and they're moving.
And they're saying, hey, maybe deeper is better for us.
Have to time it around the low tide. Yeah, that's a good little key word to pass on there, because I know Jessica was talking about that last week also.
Low tides.
Yep. And I don't know. A lot of people scalp. They usually don't have problems with sharks, but I've seen so many sharks in shallow water. So, keep an eye out.
Yeah, it's just a smart thing to do.
A lot of times you'll have one person staying on the boat. That's like your lookout.
Always should have a person on the boat. Always.
And then you take turns going in the water.
Because that anchor loose or something, or
it's happened. It's happened to people.
When you're diving or snorkeling or anything like that, one person should always be on the boat for an emergency, in case something with the boat or something with somebody, to have somebody there,
That's like, I don't know, some years back, some guys were diving one of the reefs and they both went in the water. And either the boat came loose or the anchor broke free or something happened to where when they come back up, their boat was way away from them.
Yeah. And that's not a good thing. All right, George, let's do your fishing report.
All right.
Hey guys, this is Captain George Hastic of Fish Hunter Fishing Charters coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida. Well, there's definitely been an influx of mackerel. There's definitely more mackerel moving up into the bay. And the nice thing about it is they're decent size. Last week, we caught one mackerel that was, I think it was like 15 inches. Everything else was 18 to about 24, 25 inches, so all good size ones. Recently, we popped one that was 28 inches and another one that was 30. But the range right now, I'd say fairly is between 18 to about 23 inches. That's where they've been landing in that neighborhood. And a lot of big ones, a lot of big runs, and it's all being done on white bait and or like a gold spoon, silver spoon. On the spoons, because I don't like to lose the hardware so much, I'll put a short piece of like number 3 wire, even number 2 wire, maybe about 6 or 8 inches long. Put a little swivel on there so you don't get all twisted up with your main line. And then a lot of times you can set up out in the bay if you see like a range marker that's got a lot of thread fins and you see them really getting blasted on, and sometimes you'll see them free jumping out of the water. You know, it's pretty much a dead giveaway. But if you see the action and commotion, you can spot lock if you want to, or drift and throw your spoons around that area, throw your white bait in that. A lot of times you can get into areas that's holding bait and just spot lock and really just throw out freebies. You know, just chum that water with live white bait. And when you start seeing the explosions, really all you got to do is cast up current a little bit, let your bait drift back, and usually it'll get hit fairly quickly. The thing to do is you want to have your drag set medium light, because there are hard hitters and fast runners, and they will hit that bait on the run. You know, so you don't want, if you got a novice angler, you don't want the rod being yanked out of their hand. Plus, sometimes it can rip out of the mouth if its drag is set too tight. Your trout, you're still looking at anywhere from like about, the magic number has been around 6 feet. You know, that's a good medium number, but anywhere from 4 to 7 feet they've been in that area. Look for your drop offs of your grass edges, your grass flats, where it starts to drop off deep and it gets about 5 feet, 6 feet. That's been holding it. A lot of the areas that have shell bottom, like one area that I fished down by the Skyway, it's got a lot of shell bottom down there, and there's some cobia that are hanging out there, and trout. Another area I fished, which it moved on, but it was really cool. We had an area that was in 18 feet of water, rock piles last week, catching grouper and trout side by side. Went back out there. We caught a few trout, but not like that day. Now your snook, moving water is still the key. Moving water definitely for the trout also. I like throwing that sea shad. We've got a new color that we're going to be trying out. It's right here, Flamingo Flash. So I'm going to be trying that and putting that to the test. It's got a lot of glitter in it, very bright, so I think it'll do well. The snook with the moving water, they definitely are under the tree lines, but recently, again, like the end of last week, I'm starting to see them come out from the trees a little more. We're actually hooking some without even chumming. They're out roaming a little bit, excuse me. And then a lot of them are still tucked under the trees along with the redfish. Most of our redfish have come out from underneath the mangroves. So a good cast under the mangroves, let your bait drift under the mangroves if that's possible, depending on which way the current's flowing. But it's definitely under the mangroves. And on the redfish, both will eat it, but the redfish, if you throw a nice piece of like cut pinfish, cut threadfin underneath, chunk of ladyfish, and you get it underneath, that'll definitely work. If the current's too strong, put enough split shot on there just to hold it in place so that scent builds up, and that'll draw your snook and redfish to that bait. All right, this has been Captain George Hastic. Have a good day.
All right, George, good job.
All right, man.
And like I said, you were right. I mean, today, like I said, 90% of all the fish caught cut bait. All cut bait.
Right.
They want no, we had every size pinfish you can think of, all different greenbacks, cut greenback, because we had no thread fins.
Right.
We were eating them up.
Jim's asking me if I ever used Molotron. I may have used it in the past, like a long time ago, but right now I'm really just using the saltwater assassin. The sea shad is they have every color you could possibly ever need. If you want a mullet looking color, they have it. So I mean, I'm really doing really well with them. So no, If I did, it was a long time ago. But you know, they make a good product. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I don't think I've used that one yet.
And you know, Saltwater Assassin, they're a local Florida company. I don't know about Molotron, where they're coming from.
It's Z-Man. What Molotron is Z-Man. But no, I mean, the colors are endless with Saltwater Assassin, and they're scented. So I mean, they've got everything I need, you know, for a soft plastic.
And they're good people. So it's a, you know, good product, catches fish, and a good bunch of people that run
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
A
no
nice
doubt,
family.
no doubt.
Family owned.
I got to definitely put that Flamingo Flash now. I'm gonna see what that does for me.
I'm dying to put
Yeah,
it to the test.
that's because you didn't see it last week.
I mean, you know, it reminds me of a clear bubble gum with glitter in it. You
got a
remember the
lot of
bubble gum
got a lot of glitter in it.
Yeah, it's got, yeah, you can see it. It's got
There you
tons of
go.
glitter.
That's focusing in pretty good right there. Look at the amount of glitter in that thing. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying that probably tomorrow actually, and we'll see what the trout think about that, and who knows what else.
Actually, and we got, looks like 2 to 3 days of decent weather, fairly nice winds, you know, to fish. And then I guess the Thursday or Friday, everything comes back 60% rain and I guess some gusty winds. It never changes. You know, in the winter, you say, God, come the summer, it's going to warm up a little bit. And then the summer gets here and it's hot, windy, and the wind's blowing and raining.
Right. I know people used to hate it, you know, like they work all week. I remember when I was younger, it was like, man, you worked all week. Here comes the weekend, it's going to be raining the whole weekend. It's like, what the heck? And then it's nice all week, and it's like, come on, give me a break with this.
I remember those days, man, during the week and looking out and saying, God, look at this weather. And then come Friday night for Saturday, it'd be blowing like crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Jim says I happened to see it the other day. I usually stick with the basics personally, light when bright and dark when muddy. Yeah, I've actually gone against that a lot of times. Where I'm in darker water, I'll even throw a white sometimes because I want them to see
Pearlescent
it.
works good in,
Oh yeah,
in muddy water.
and I want them to see it, and it'll work. Give it a try sometime. Like if you're throwing dark in the muddy and you're not getting it, try a light colored one like white or pearl. And he says, I swear I see more people out on Monday and Tuesdays.
Monday and Tuesday. I see them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
I swear, yeah. Fridays, I understand there's a lot of tournaments, but man, you're out there on a Tuesday, and it's like, my goodness, look at all these people. Doesn't anybody work?
It used to be Wednesdays because barbers or somebody used to be off on Wednesdays or something like that. But Wednesday was the day in the middle of the week that you saw the most boats. And now it's every day.
It's random. It doesn't matter. It could be any day now.
Yeah.
And when you come back into the boat ramp
It's
and you
packed.
see how many, you see how many people are parked there, and it's like, man, it's like, and I blame COVID. COVID is the one that started all that.
Everybody
doubt.
went out and bought RVs and boats.
And I'll tell you what, them people that were getting those stimulus checks, they weren't paying their bills. They were going on fishing charters. I was more busy from COVID checks than you could even shake a stick at.
So basically other people was paying for them to go fishing like
Yep.
us.
Yep,
You were part of that.
Without a doubt. He said, yes, it did. But yeah, I don't know what they do for work, or it could be a lot of people because of COVID, you know, there were companies that made them work from home. And then it was more beneficial for the companies because then they didn't have to pay for all
For
the
office
lighting,
space.
the office. And so a lot of them might just stayed home or they started their own businesses.
Well, and a lot of companies have gone to a 4-day work week, 10-hour days.
Yep.
I noticed that, you know. So, but anyway, it's 8 o'clock, George. It's time to wave everybody goodbye, and hopefully we get more fishing reports for
Next week.
next week. We'll get more people on the water again. So,
All right,
thank you
guys.
very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. God bless.
Thanks for tuning in.